Hi, Randy. This is Dawn. How are you?
Pretty good, Don. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. So, for everybody who doesn't know, this is Dawn with NoteQueen.com. This is Randy Hughes, Mr. Land Trust, and we're going to have a little bit of a conversation about notes and land trust and owner financing, all sorts of great stuff. So, Randy, one of the things we were talking about, I'm in the note business, so that means I'm buying discounted paper, and sometimes I'm doing a private loan. And you were talking about how using land trusts can make greater security for the lender or for the note buyer. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, in fact, I think it provides security not only for the note buyer, but the note seller. All parties are better off. Well, for example, let's say that you sell on contract and the title to the property is in your name, and you sell to somebody else on a contract.
Right, so I'm the owner of the property, and I sell it, and I carry back a note, or I take an installment. I did owner financing, is what you're saying, of one kind or another, right?
Right.
Right.
Now, now we got two parties involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you sell that note to a third party, we have three people involved.
Well, if I sell my note, I'm kind of out of it at that point.
Well, it depends. You could sell a partial, can't you?
Oh, yeah, I could. I do that all the time as a note buyer, right?
There you go.
Right.
So if you sell a partial, or you could sell the front end payments or the
Right.
back end payments or whatever, but
Right.
We could have three parties involved. Now, if the original seller goes out and does something crazy, like he does something that gets a judgment against him, and that creditor attaches a lien against the property that he sold to you on a contract, that's going to affect you. That's going to affect the title of the property, and it's also going to ultimately perhaps affect the note holder if he at some point has to, let's say he has to foreclose because the payments stop on the note. Well, he's going to be second in line to a creditor that he did.
Oh, so this is more like a lease option or contract for deed, not so much when title is transferred to the buyer.
Yeah, this is a contract sale,
Right.
where seller's
still on title.
He's still on title.
Right.
He could be cashed out totally, and remain on title and still muck up the system, right?
Wow.
The title's in his name, and he's sold for whatever his equity was, but the title remains in his name, and he does something that gets a lien against him, that can still affect that property.
Right. Well, let's say I have a situation where, and I did this a few months ago. In fact, Randy, you really helped me marry the land trust product with my note buying and lending. So someone came to me where they just could not in a million years, you know how tight things have gotten from a regulatory standpoint. You have to be very careful when you're lending money. You got to make sure they can actually pay it back, and you've done your due diligence that way. And he couldn't qualify, but he had the money and his plan made sense, and we set it up so that it wasn't, it would never be a win-lose. It would only be a win-win, but I couldn't make him a regular loan. So what we did is I had him put his property in the land trust, and then I bought the beneficial interest for about the amount that he needed as a loan, and with him getting an option to buy it back, so that I have greater protection. I haven't violated any regulatory laws.
I've used the land trust in virtually every transaction. There's just so many reasons to use the trust, and instead of not using the trust. It's not hard to do, it's not expensive to do, so my theory is, why not do it?
Right. I mean, so you're talking buy and hold, buy and flip. You can't do that with REOs and short sales, or owner financing, either way. What else?
Actually, I have done it with short sales.
Have you really?
Yeah, you make the offer to the lender in the name of your trustee. And the nice thing about that is then the offer goes on through, and we all know it takes months to get these short sales done. If I can bail out before the transaction's even closed by finding a contract signing, then I sell them the beneficial interest in the trust, and they keep the transaction alive at the trustee level.
Yeah.
even though the beneficiary has changed.
Gotcha. Well, that's interesting because some title companies, if it's an REO or short sale, they won't let the person take title in the name of a trust at all.
Yeah, and I realize that. It just depends on who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah. Thanks a lot for your time, Randy, and I'll meet you same time, same place next week.
all right.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. To learn more about land trust, please join us for our one-day training on October 28th. On the next day, the 29th, is training on notes, discounted notes, and private lending. Save the 28th and the 29th in Culver City. See you there.